No sound.
Oh, there we go. All right. Well, until Lawrence comes back, in case anyone wants to listen again. If not, this is part 2 to the Flat Earth Eclipse. And I suddenly lost my internet connection just like that, and it ended the broadcast. So welcome back, Lawrence. And you have something you wanted to add to that. So we're just going to make this part 2.
I don't know whether I was talking to myself or whatever. I just talked a bit about, so you're asking about how far into the future we can see eclipses on time and date. They actually go up to the year 2099. So in case we didn't go through last time, you never saw it anyway. Let's have a look at 2099.
Your audio is terrible. Your connection's terrible, Lawrence. It's all choppy and crackly. Both of us are being attacked tonight, so don't know. Attacked with the internet. Are you there? Can't hear you, Lawrence. Oh, I love these technical difficulties. Okay, well, for those who rejoined us.
Is that better?
Yes, much better. We have a few people who rejoined us, so thank you for coming back. My internet went completely off, and I was the one that was hosting the broadcast, so it cut the Hangout completely off. So this is going to just be part 2, a continuation of what we were talking about a little while ago. So what have you got, Lawrence?
Yeah, the eclipse on the 14th of September 2099. So let's have a look at this one and see which direction it's going.
2099.
It doesn't go beyond. Yeah, probably won't be here then. But is it going the other way? Let's have a look. Is that going the opposite? Is that going from east to west? It looks like it, doesn't it? We're in the opposite direction.
Well, you're going backwards an hour.
Oh,
the other one you went forwards an hour.
Oh, right. All right. Yeah, it's me. I'm dyslexic. Yeah. So yeah, it's over North America once again, then, isn't it? Yeah, in the similar sort of place.
Yeah.
And that's
pretty close to the same track.
82 years time. Well, I'll be about 140 then. I'll be 141. I'm not even
going to talk about how old I would be.
2099. Yeah, I'll be 141 if I'm still here.
Let's just say I was around for 1999.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So that's as far forward as it goes. It's 2099.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So is that the end of the Earth, or that's as far as their forecast could imagine or predict?
They've just put the data into them because there's not many people.
Okay, so that one was going west to east, also, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or viewable from west to east.
Yeah.
Interesting.
In the same place as the one that's coming up later this year, or more or less the same.
Yeah. And it looked like the same path.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
I was going to go through the debunking of the map that Ronnie gave to Jason because he complained that we only debunked the Globebusters map.
Oh, well, then you should certainly
I've got some
debunk the Awake Souls version.
Yeah, and there's nothing personal about this. It's just
not about the version. It's literally a map that was already in existence called the Sinew Mulwide map. Sinew.
That was the Globebusters one. Yeah, Awake Souls was a different one.
And so, what was the Awake Souls one?
I'll tell you what it is in a minute when I'm going to bring it up on screen. Just bear with me a second.
Okay.
Okay, share. Okay, let me go to my little what's it? Bleak paint. Not that one. Why has it done that? Bleaks 5, is it that one? No. Bleak 6.5, is that going to be it? No, next one. Bleak 6. All right, I'll go back to the start on this one. A bleak file, open. I'll start off with the bleak. I'll just go through the series of things that I did when I was putting together the prosecution against the Awake Souls and Ronnie Map. So,
the prosecution.
Yeah, okay. So basically, this is their map.
Okay.
And what I've done, the red dots represent the path of the sun. That's the equator. So they don't have a straight line sun on theirs because the equator is a wavy line.
Right.
But the purpose of that wasn't
what's
specific.
radically wrong with the hold on, sorry, I need to present you. What's radically wrong with the shape of the continent?
Well, Africa's the big problem. It's far too big. And I've got that in the next screen. But
totally
I was just,
yeah,
and I say that at the equator, the distance between each degree of longitude is just over 69 miles. So when you're calculating distances, you can use these longitude lines on the equator to work out how far it is between two different points. If they're on the same longitude and on the same latitude but different longitude, you can actually work it out. So it's going to be 69.17 miles for every degree of longitude. So we're going to be using that to prove that the size of Africa is totally out of proportion. So that's a bleak file, a bleak one. Sorry, a bleak. So let's go to a bleak one. There we go. Let's make it bigger. Showing on there, distance from 90 west to 90 east is halfway across the Earth, 12,450 miles. And the scale on this map, assuming it's 25,000 miles across, which would have to be, it's 6.2 centimeters, which is 11,780 miles. Distance across Africa at the equator is actually 2,322, but on this map it is 1.6 centimeters, which if you multiply that times 1,900, which is the scale, 1,900 for 1 centimeter. Africa is 3,040 miles across.
At that particular location where you measured it, is that the same location where they
that's
at that latitude?
I measured it. That's over the equator. So that line is over the equator. So the distance across the equator, 2,322, but in reality, but 3,040. So it's 700 miles wider on a Bleak Souls map, which is quite a big discrepancy. But let's have a look at the length of Africa, because that is even worse.
Yeah, it's pretty elongated.
Let's have a look at a Bleak 2.
Now, in their defense, this is supposed to fit on a globe when it is manipulated per the grid. Am I correct?
They said that they want to say that it fits, but it's not going to change the length of Africa. When you wrap it around a globe, it's still going to be It's still going to be far too big, because it doesn't make things shrink. It will just.
Well, they're saying that it's put in this Blender application program that is going to move those lines of latitude and longitude to make it fit.
Well, I mean,
is that the idea?
Yeah, no, but Laurie, if they're presenting this as a map, then you go to Africa and you try and use this map. We showed it was 700 miles too wide, and the distance from the top to the bottom of Africa, 5206, on their map, it's 9,310 miles. It's huge. It's
Okay,
so long.
we're doing the same thing. So we're all saying the same thing. If a map is supposed to fit around a globe, or if it's supposed to be flat, or if it's supposed to be square, diamond, whatever, it needs to reflect the data that we observe. That's one thing.
Yeah, because people are just going to laugh at that, aren't they? They're going to say, that's Africa. I mean, the shape's completely wrong.
Yeah, well, that's been the problem with the other maps, not AE map, you know, the Gleason map, is that not only are the shapes and sizes of continents wrong, but they're in the wrong place.
Yeah. So on to the next one. Okay, what's this I've got here? Oblique 3. Here we go. So yeah, so if the sun has to negotiate a wavy path, then it's going to cover that from one side to the other, then that line is going to be more than 25,000 miles. So on their map, the sun is going to have to speed up, is it not? Yeah, if the left-hand side to the right-hand side is 25,000, then a wavy line is always going to be longer than a straight line. So that's more than 25,000 miles along that equator, which is obviously it would need to be anyway, because Africa's so much bigger. Yeah, that's just straightforward, common sense.
You know, one thing I want to clear up that's really important, you know, words are really important, as you said in the last part of the first hangout, or the first part of the last hangout that we just did, that we got cut off from. We never said it was our intention to look for a map that wrapped around a globe.
No, never.
Okay. And but what we did say was that the observations of the globe work. So we need to find a flat Earth map that shows the same observations. But we never said that it needed to fit on a globe.
Yeah.
Okay. So just to make sure everybody understands that we're clear on it, never, you know, we never said that. We never said there needed to be a map that fit on a globe.
Okay, so Laurie, you're going to have to present this one for me because I don't get any sound here. So I want you to.
Well, I don't have my microphone hooked up. I unhooked everything because I couldn't get back on the internet.
What's happened to the chat on the side? Our chat on here.
It's going.
Is it coming back?
I don't know.
Can I send you a link? I'll send it to your Facebook then. Hang on.
Okay. I'm telling you that I don't have the microphone hooked up. Is this a video that has audio that needs to be played?
Yeah.
Okay, well then, no, you won't be able to hear it.
All right. Okay.
So I'm not interested. I'm not interested in playing Awake Souls videos anyway.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, I'll debunk it without showing it then. Let's go back.
That'd be great.
Let's go back to where we were at. So, okay, that was oblique 2. So we've got Africa that's, you know, nearly twice as big as it should, long as high as it should be. Right. So let's go on to the next one, oblique 3. And what do we have here?
Now, where are you coming up? Where are you coming up with these obliques?
But the oblique's just the name I give to the file.
Okay. So where are you coming up with these maps?
There we go. So, sorry, this is their map. Okay, oblique 4. So this is the oblique Mercator projection, cylindrical conformal by C.S. Pierce from 1894. So that's the one that they're going for. So you can see on that, look how long Africa is. It's huge. You know, it's twice the length of South America.
Please, let's make sure we know who we are talking about, and that is Awake Souls and Event Skeptic. This is the map that you're saying they're using?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, proceed.
Okay, so there we, so that's their actual map. I can make it a bit smaller if you want to see it all in one go. There it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's move on from that to the next one.
If it's not, I'm sure they'll let us know.
Okay, so here we go. So they did a piece showing a route from California to Tokyo, because obviously to fly from California to Tokyo in real life, you would fly west because that is the quickest. Right. However, on their map, they're showing the red line. You know, I've just superimposed the green line onto that. They're showing the red line as the route, yeah, but in reality, the green line is closer. So California is closer to Tokyo flying to the east than it is flying west. So on the map, so on this map, the route from California to Tokyo is shorter flying east, but the distance is 12,000 miles compared to 5,333 in reality. So they've got a bit of a problem there, haven't they? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So on their map, it's just quick. It's quicker to go in the opposite direction.
The airlines wouldn't fly unless somebody's going to come up with the reason why they can't fly over the top of the Earth.
Yeah. All right. So these aren't just minor glitches. These are huge errors. Huge errors. You know, the continents are so out of you know, what they should be, that the distances are going to be horribly wrong, and for that reason alone,
that would really be a great circle route if I ever saw one.
And I would ask why anybody in their right mind could not see that the map was horribly wrong before they even considered using it and did a video about it, because I could see straight away that that map's full of holes, and you know, it just simply isn't going to work. Anyway, that was a oblique 5.
It's a really interesting Bering Strait up there.
Yeah, well, this is a snapshot from Awake Souls thing, because you've got it across the top. Why I made the hit pace against Globebusters and Flat Earth Conspiracy. Yeah, and what his forward strategy is. So he's thinking in the future, they're going to go down in history as finding the Flat Earth map.
Well, good for them.
You know, but it ain't going to be this one, guys. You know, it is absolutely useless. You know, I'm sorry, but it's absolutely useless. Let's go on to the next one. Oblique 6. Oh, I forgot that. Okay, so this is that map. This is what it looks like shown on Google Earth. Tokyo to California. There's the route. Right. Yeah, yeah, and you can measure the distances, which is what I did. I haven't got it showing on there, but it was the figure I gave you in the last one. And now we know. So if you look at how close that is to the gap between Russia and Alaska, can you see how close that red line is? Let's see what it looks like on their map. Oblique 6. Hang on.
The last one you did was 5.
Yeah, hang on. Oblique 6.5. There we go.
6.5. Okay.
Okay, so there it is on their map. Now, can you see? You can see how far away it is. Yeah, there's the gap between.
If you put that map on a globe, you're saying.
Yeah, if you put that same route on the actual globe.
Way around the world.
On the actual globe, yeah. Look how far it's going. It's going halfway around the world.
More than half.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
You can't even see California on the right-hand side over there.
So this one here is what that route looks like on Awake Souls map. Let's go back to the other one just to remind you. And this is the comparison, and you can see there's a huge difference. Yeah, everything's out of alignment, and the distances are so much more. So there you go. That map wants throwing in the dustbin. You know, they need to go back to the drawing board and find something else.
Well, but that's up for them and other people to decide. We've made our decision. We made our decision on this sort of map, this layout of map, way back when Globebusters first brought it out in the big map expose show. When was that? Last July?
Yeah. I know another interesting point is if you look at the Awake Souls video, we aren't going to play it, but if you look in the comments, you've got Kristen Wolf saying that she debunked the Calignan map, but she said she started making all sorts of excuses, saying, but she hasn't done a video about it because nobody's going to watch it. Well, what sort of excuse is that? If she did a debunking video, it would get it would get at least a few hundred views.
Sure.
You and I would certainly watch it, and a lot of our regular viewers would watch it to see what she had to say.
Sure.
Yeah. So
we've been waiting for somebody to debunk the Calignan map since January or February of last year.
So if you're watching, Kristen, put your video out, do your debunking, and we will give you a rebuttal.
Come on, Kristen, show us what you got, because we spent a lot of time together a year and a half ago on doing hangouts with you and me and Lawrence and Morguile, and so if you have something that debunks it, let's see it. And
we'll be pleased if you can. If you can debunk what we've got, then that's great, because it means we're making more progress. So let's have it, Kristen. Put your video out. Just the main points that you have a problem with. Let's see it, because it's no good telling people.
That whole business of I've got it, but I just haven't released it, and the dog ate my homework is not really going to work, because Lawrence has got a dog too, and it's quietly sleeping over there while he does his hangouts and these kind of excuses. Lawrence and I have faced off on a lot of people over the last year and a half, and justifiably so, because the information that we came up with that debunked the AE and the Gleason map stands. I mean, nobody's been able to debunk our debunking, and it's one of the reasons why we started this whole thing in the beginning, was to discuss the flat earth dogma, the flat earth cult dogma, which I use the word cult. Maybe a lot of people don't like that, but if you don't question what your authoritarian people are telling you, your gurus, then you're in a cult. And that's, go look it up. It's a dictionary definition, and we didn't make it up. And the last thing I want to ever be accused of is being in a cult. And flat earth theory in itself has been called a cult practically from the day it got started. And the cult leaders were the top gurus, view getters on YouTube and websites, and they were called cult leaders. Number one of which was Eric Dubay, because he's written the most information and put it out there, videos and blog and forums and so on. So if you subscribe to the A.E. Gleason map, we have debunked it. I mean, I've said it on many, going in groups on Facebook and saying, oh, come on, you still got the same old A.E. Gleason map in your videos. And then they'll, and I'll say it's been debunked. And they'll say, but debunked by who? Okay. And I could easily say by me and Lawrence, but I don't, because we're not the only ones that debunked it. As a matter of fact, some of the best debunkers out there are Globers. They debunked it too, right?
Yeah. I've got quite an interesting point here, actually. Now, I listened to the Globebusters hangout from yesterday, and I'm not criticizing any of the content of the show particularly. But Jaron raised a very interesting point. So, Jaron, well done, mate. This is real research, and I hadn't noticed it, and it's the first I've heard of it. But Jaron was looking on Google Earth, and on Google Earth, you can draw a line across the ocean and find out what the rise and fall in elevation is. And apparently, I think I need to update my version of Google Earth to see this feature, but we did see it on Jaron's. and the ocean is as flat as a pancake. There's no rise and fall in elevation. You can go 5,000 miles across the ocean and there's no rise or fall in elevation, which is like they're admitting that the ocean is flat, you know, and at sea level, it would have to be flat, wouldn't it? But it can't be flat on a globe. It can't be both. It can't be flat and curved at the same time. So, Jaron, thanks for that information. Apparently, he said he'd left a comment on one of our videos saying we might be interested. Yeah, it's very interesting. And hopefully,
well, actually, now that you brought that up, and yes, thanks, Jaron, for making that observation, because we kind of been talking about Lawrence was the one who took a lot of heat talking about elevation to begin with, that we should know we're on a globe based on the elevation moving from north to south. You should be able to recognize the drop off happening. But my comments on flat earth conspiracy are so screwed up that I can't, if I take it off approval, okay, then any numbnuts on earth can leave comments and I can't keep up with them, and I don't want to go through erasing comments, because then that turns into a whole nother ball game. So for quite some time, I've had this setting on approved comments, and I have a pretty low value, I guess you would call it, on comments going automatically to spam that have curse words or calling you an idiot or any of that. I don't have a whole lot of those settings, although some of these comments go into the spam comment section on their own if someone uses a bad curse word or the word idiot. And I haven't changed that because I really don't like that word very much. But if I try to go from the comment when it gives me a notification to click on it to allow it or to answer it, the screen that says it's like a background screen, and it won't go to the video. The video will start playing. You can hear the audio, but you can't go to the face of the video from the comments. So I don't know what this glitch is about, but if you haven't had your comment approved or you haven't had your comment responded to recently, that's why, because I haven't figured out how. I'm going to have to get YouTube involved to help me fix this anomaly, or maybe they're the ones that are doing it. I don't know. That's possible too.
I think Jaron is a bit of a whiz on Jaron's a bit of a whiz on Google Earth, so I think Jaron, you know, if you're watching, mate, I know you watch our show some of the times. That is an area for more research, and you're good at handling that sort of technology. You know, I'm sure I can do it myself. I just have to get my head around that bit that you're looking at. But Jaron found some other interesting points, and one of them was that if you look at the rise and fall in elevation, it is as flat as a pancake. But when you get to the international date line or one of the other meridians, 3 to 6 miles, I forget what it was, but it was miles, you know, so it's perfectly flat and then zoom down 6 miles. And he was doing the zigzags across that date line or that meridian if it wasn't the international date line. And also
that's the submarine elevation you're talking about, not the elevation of the water.
No, I don't think it's the submarine elevation. No, I don't think it's the seafloor. I think it's the the sea. The sea appears to go down, and at the North Pole or somewhere near the North Pole, it's below sea level there as well. So it's that's some. I'm going to have a look at it as soon as I can get my Google Earth updated, so I can get this same feature that Jaron was using, because I haven't seen that one before. But it's very interesting, Jaron. So thanks for pointing it out, and it may lead to something. Who knows? But we will have a look at it, and if we find anything further to what you've put out, then we'll mention it on the show. But
definitely, we don't care where the information comes from, and even if we've butted heads with somebody before in the past, we don't take it personally. I hope you don't, but if you do, it's okay. But you need to get over it. because when we butt heads with somebody, it's over information and disinformation, not about personalities. Couldn't care less about personalities.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jaron's actually been held back a little bit by Bob and the Morgal, because they're a bit. Whenever Jaron comes up with any ideas, they're all very gloom and doom and looking for reasons why his ideas don't work.
Oh, that's no good. You gotta let somebody.
And he's come up with it. Jaron came up with actually another good idea about putting some poles by the side. I know the fall in elevation would be obvious anyway, but it'd be worth doing as an experiment. But the Morgal was poo-pooing the idea, so ooh, do it if you want, but he wasn't that keen on it. He thought he should build a solid structure, but I think he was going to use a laser over 6 miles of some bank and put these poles in and align the laser with the poles and see whether it was, whether there was any fall or not. But that sounded a good idea.
How do you deal with the laser path of light widening over?
I don't know. I think it was over 3. I think it was over 3 miles. So I should think it might be okay over that. But certainly worth doing.
3 or 4 miles, the path, the circle of light of a laser grows exponentially past a certain point. I mean, you point it, and it's going to be a 10-foot wide circle in no time. No time at all. He learned that lesson when he did his first laser experiment and was shining the laser up into the sky, and you could tell that, I mean, the light disappeared after a pretty short distance, which means the pattern opened up really wide, and could not be seen as a laser beam.
Well, these lasers that they put on guns that snipers use. Well, some of these snipers shoot from a mile away, do they? Long way off anyway.
Well, I don't know the longest distance for a sniper bullet, but it's not. I don't think it's anything like 5 miles. I mean, how do you see 5 miles?
I don't know.
Well, they actually have a certain kind of telescope, spotting telescope, I think it's called, for snipers. But there are qualities of laser beams, laser lights, that are tighter pinhole, I guess, and more powerful to send a longer ray beam of light for greater distance, but it still spreads out. That's why it's such a joke about they put these mirror things on the moon when they were there on one of the missions in the 70s so that they could bounce lasers off the moon and be able to do something. I don't remember what it was, some horseshit story, but the idea of bouncing a laser off the moon, if it was 239,000 miles away, is pretty much stupid already. Okay, so now with your calculation of the moon being closer, but we know we didn't land there and set up any mirrors there, so that's all dumb too. With regards to the going back to these maps, okay, I'm really stuck on this idea that it's all about wrapping it on a globe, as if that's going to be the end all be all to a flat earth map, is just being able to wrap it on a globe. And there are projections based on lots of projections based on a globe, but what is the benefit? I just want to know, what is the benefit to finding a map that can be computer manipulated in a program to fit on a globe? Because as it's manipulated, things are going to stretch and things are going to, get smaller and all that. How does that make any topographical real virtual, I mean, real map, not a virtual one.
It's not.
I just don't understand what the point of
is.
it is. What are you proving by doing that? By all this computer manipulation and wrapping and bending what we all know are straight lines. I mean, Event Skeptic himself, you know, understands that the UTM are based on straight lines. I mean, he used to be on this hangout with us. Okay, so it's not like I can wipe my memory of all the things that he said or agreed with or understood back then. So to suddenly change course and say it's okay that all of these latitude and longitude lines turn into big curvy wavy things, okay, and that it's based on separating the South Pole into two sides of the map, okay. If that's a map of reality, then where does this three pole thing come in with regards to star trails? I mean, you can go dig back in our archive of videos, and the motion of the stars in the sky was the big production that Ronnie did on this hangout. And he was
it makes no sense at all.
Pretty stressing the fact that there were two poles. I mean, he made fun of Dubé and Dubé's single pole and his, you know, circulating snow globe thing over the top of the flat Earth pizza pan model. I mean, what was all that? So, I don't understand what's going on. And I don't understand why, you know, when you and I decided immediately after the hangout that Jason and Ronnie were in, where Jason brought in this map. And I thought, you know, you can go watch it on their channel. We don't have it on this channel anymore, but both of those guys uploaded it, or actually, I can probably pretty honestly say they didn't upload it. They just went ahead and filmed it somehow, screen captured it as it was happening. But anyway, we said we were really pretty diplomatic, I think, all things considered. You especially. I mean, I kind of wasn't. I got accused of cutting him off and trying to derail him and everything else, but it was really about, really, you want to go there? You want to pull this map out and start, this is Cammie's map, as close to as anything I've seen. It, you know, it has the wavy lines, it has sort of the heart shape, it has the triple poles, it's got a curvy, wavy equator. I mean, there's a lot in common. So for someone to say, oh, it's not Cammie's map, well, you know, okay, it's real close. But as soon as that whole broadcast was over, I was like, what the hell? So it was my decision to take that video down. Am I standing in the way of the future finding of the flat Earth map? Hell no. If you got it, buddy, put it up there. But why you had to choose this channel and this, you know, dynamic duo to bring that bullshit up, because that's what I think it is. And you know, Lawrence can call it whatever he wants or call it nothing at all. For you to use this format to try to, you know, bring that to the front, either you're completely passive aggressive and tried to bring us in on your ploy, or you spent zero time investigating who it was you were bringing that whole thing into. Because if you had watched even an inkling of our broadcasts, of our hangouts, and our year and a half of debunking maps and videos and and systematically coming up with what we think is closer to the map and the model, then that was your bad. That was your mistake. So if you thought you were treated unfairly, or if you thought somebody was trying to censor you, then you're barking up an empty tree, because I'm not out to censor anyone. If you discover life, the universe, and everything single-handedly, then good luck to you. And if you manage that, I'll be the first one to stand in line and say, attaboy, whatever. So anyway, this map, I don't really want to waste a whole lot more time on it, Lawrence. And I know how you are.
No.
You can't let something go. But
I know. Well, it was just the fact that they said that we hadn't debunked it. So there you have, we have debunked it. The points have been raised. Africa's nearly twice as tall as it should be, and it's 700 miles too far across. Your plane routes are totally out of sync. It's quicker to fly from west to east than from east to west when you're going from on the west coast of America to Japan.
Yeah.
So if that in itself is so obviously wrong, how you could actually present a video.
Let's just add in there, okay, how many times we drove it home that the sun travels in a straight line across from east to west every day. It moves north and south between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn, but it rises in the east, it sets in the west, and it travels in a straight path line from east to west day after day. And
so
Ronnie was a part of that. Ronnie agreed to that. Ronnie drove it home to other people in videos that he did and on these hangouts too. And for him to suddenly think that now the sun's going in a wavy line. I mean, he laughed out loud at people who believed that it went in a circle. So if you go back and look at the evidence that we're talking about, what happened with someone, completely changing course because they managed to hook up with somebody new and who had a different idea. Well, like I said, have at it, go to it, knock yourself out, but don't say we haven't debunked it. Lawrence is relentless, and Ronnie should know that of all people, that he won't just let it go at one debunking. I'm going to have another debunking session next week and the week after that and the week after that until they shut up about Lawrence debunking it, right, Lawrence? Because that's how you are.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
So okay.
So, let's hear it back. Let's see Jason's rebuttal about the size of Africa, how he can explain how it's twice as long and
do a whole show do a whole video on Africa but for me, if you would please explain how the sun goes like this. How does it do that? Okay, because you're getting close to the circle again, guys, and both of you came into this having a strong belief that the sun doesn't go in a circle. Well, a wave is, similar.
A circular motion. It just doesn't complete the full circle.
It's a curvy. It's a curvy motion. Curvy. Sine wave. So somewhere in there, maybe, I don't know. Ronnie came into this whole thing as a strong proponent of a lot of the stuff that free energy was doing. Okay. And never really wavered a whole lot from that, except on the Mercator aspect. He was a strong diamond believer and understood the concept, how we arrived at it, followed along, jumped in, joined us. And then, so you can say anything you want. You can research it any way you want. But when somebody debunks it and somebody calls you out on it, and you act like you don't know what we're talking about, then something's wrong. And I'll call it the same kind of disinfo as I'll call a proponent of the AE map or a pusher of the Gleason map any day of the week, because they've been debunked. Right, Lawrence?
Indeed.
Indeed.
Yeah. Yeah. Just going off at a little tangent now. This is just a point of interest, but some people might disagree with me. But you remember there's been when these people talk about Apollo, and you see these pictures of the craft, and they're covered in aluminium foil or gold leaf foil, which is totally ridiculous, and also the Hubble telescope, which is covered in turkey foil or whatever. Well, lo and behold, I just had the thought in my head. I thought, because I've never paid much attention to this CERN, because I always thought it was a load of bollocks. So I went and had a look at some pictures of CERN, and here we have. Let's take a look at what it's like at CERN in the tunnels that they have there.
Oh,
You've
yeah.
got the right expression on there.
We're going to see some aluminium there, aren't we?
There's the Facebook. Oops, sorry. There's the Facebook. Can I make that any bigger? Probably not. But if you can look at that, that's the tunnel at CERN. It's got two rails at the bottom. It's probably a disused underground railway of some description. And you've just got some kind of pipe that's covered in turkey foil. It's ridiculous.
Turkey foil. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, well, that's what they do over here. They wrap the turkeys up in aluminium foil before they cook them, so they don't dry out. But that's just a load of turkey foil around a round pipe, and not some accelerator that's going to smash atoms into tiny smithereens and neutrons and electrons and particles of them, of whatever they call them. It's just a total load of techno bollocks,
So
that's the Large Hadron Collider, supposedly. Yeah.
LHC. So yeah. So what are you trying to say, Lawrence? That aluminum
it's a hoax. It's a hoax. It's a hoax.
That aluminum foil can't make it to space and back, and can't withstand the crashing of molecules or whatever the hell, electrons or whatever the heck they do over there.
It's such a cheap job, I mean, if it was this high-tech equipment, designed to smash atoms and other particles into tinier particles, you ain't going to have something covered in bloody turkey foil.
Well, they found the God particle in there a couple of years ago, didn't they, Lawrence?
Well, yeah, maybe they did, but I'm not buying it for 1 minute. The whole CERN thing is a bloody hoax, and
well, it's certainly got a lot of people, scared witless that they're gonna punch a hole in the something, and they're going to or it's gonna open a hole to hell.
Yeah, I'll give you a bigger picture of it. Let's have a look.
Open a hole to hell. That's one thing.
Yeah, let's get a bigger picture of that.
Aluminum foil.
There we go. There we go. CERN. There we are. I can make this bigger.
It is kind of funny, Lawrence, that you say that.
There you go.
There's a whole lot of people that see those photos of the Apollo moon landers with foil all over them.
Yeah, but that looks to me like a we have a thing called a tube here that goes under London. I think there's one in New York. Mm-hmm. It's like a tube, a railway tube thing, or a disused one, or some underground transportation system. But if you look at the bottom of that, you've got two railway lines, or something that looks like two railway lines.
No, that's the walk path. That's the walk path.
And all
people go down
and all this other stuff, all these pipes going along the side. What are all those for? And this little bit of this is this aluminium stuff that you stick on, like shelving or something down this side, and it looks a bit dirty, doesn't it?
Lawrence, do you see anything that helps create the scale? I mean, what is this, like 15 feet high ceiling, or
Yeah, something
12
like
feet
that.
high ceiling, maybe, based
Or
on the
if it was,
size of some of these conduits.
well, yeah, and if this was some high tech thing to, you know, to smash particles into the tiniest possible fragments, it would be pristine clean. Look at the filth on this, all this dirt up the side of it. You know, I'm not buying. What's this wire sticking out of here? You know, that somebody's just tied and it's all hanging loose. You know, you can look at this stuff, and you can look at some. You can watch the videos on this. There's, you know, propaganda videos, but that to me just like. In fact, it looks like a bit like a sewage
Lawrence,
pipe.
it's all about making people think that they're going to open the pits of hell.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm consigning that to just another hoax.
When what was the first year that that CERN supposedly was started being built? Not when it came online, but when it was built.
Oh, well,
I
I
mean,
don't
because
know.
look,
I don't know.
that whole crazy tunnel, where was that? In like maybe Germany or somewhere, that opened last year. It had the big festival and the big
Yeah.
opening party with all the people on the train going. Oh, it's all bizarre. They had like angels falling down from, you know what I'm talking about? That tunnel.
I don't know which one you're on about now, but I'm sure you'll show us if you've got it.
Well, crap. New train tunnel, Switzerland. That's where it was, and it was called, no, Gotthard. Gotthard. They had a big coming out party for it. And let's see, here's one. Hold on. Oops. Share. No, stop. I just pulled a Lawrence. Share. This one. Let's see. Is it up there? Yeah. This whole big deal. Do you remember this, Lawrence? Where they had the big, huh? You don't remember seeing any of this?
I haven't seen it now. They
They had all
look
these
like
zombie workers, and they had it was all about bringing demons up out of the ground. And wait a minute, hold on. Here we go. People throwing flour with their in their underwear. I never could figure out what that was about. This demon baby with these big angel wings. This was a festival, or this was a production opening ceremony for this tunnel.
Oh
all
yeah, there's the
these
audience.
creepy demons out there. And so it's supposed to be, oh, look at the views. 636,666 views, of course. And so this was supposed to be related to CERN. This whole thing. I mean, come on, where's the one where they're outside, for God's sakes? They had a big outside ceremony too.
Yeah, you've got it there on the right hand side, Laurie. Bizarre opening ceremony
There
for
it
Gotthard
is.
Base.
That's the one.
And how close is that to CERN?
Well, it's in Switzerland, and Switzerland isn't quite that big.
It's not big at all now.
What's your deal here? Okay.
Here we go. Base.
They got these people dropping out and things dropping off and big circles. See how that kind of looks like CERN's thing?
Yeah.
Tunnel. Why are these people who got their outfits halfway on? See this part right up here?
Yeah, I'm
So
going
it
to find
has something to do with they're trying to tie the two together.
Well,
CERN
let's have.
and
I'm
this
just going to.
tunnel.
Oh yeah. So we found the Gothard Tunnel on here. That's where it is. I can't get that off the screen. Never mind. Let's see if they're close. There we are. So I'll go back in. Where's that page gone? Yeah, I'll show you where it is.
Proximity of Gothard Tunnel, Gothard or whatever you call it. Gut, probably if it's.
Well, we can have a look on Google Earth and see how close they are. So let's do the first one. Yeah. Okay. So that's where it is. That's the Gothard Tunnel in a place called near Erstfield. So let's have a look at CERN and see where that is. We can zoom out of that and see if it keeps that on the screen. Okay. How far have we got to move to go from there to CERN?
Yeah, I can't even remember how long they spent building that thing, but.
Yeah. A fair way away. No, it's taking me to CERN off. What does CERN stand for? CERN.
CERN?
It's not coming up on there. What town? Where is CERN located? Do you know? Can you have a look, Laurie, where it's located? Where in Switzerland?
I'll tell you if you just hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Close to CERN is all. Let's see, Switzerland. CERN meets the Gotthard base tunnel head on in a 6 to 10. No, come on. Where is CERN? Where is CERN? Holy crap. Can you not just tell me where CERN is? What's CERN? Headquarters, Marin, Canton of Geneva, Switzerland. Come on, where is it? Location. Boy, sometimes.
Where is it? In Geneva?
Let's see. Okay, hold on. Let me do a screen share myself and I'll show you the little map I just found.
Okay.
Okay, what's the name of the place that you had?
That was the Gothard, wasn't it? Which we found.
What's the name of the town?
Well, give me the name of it. Can you read that? Give me the name of the nearest town.
Marin, Meyrin.
Mayrin. Okay. Let's go and have a look. I'll go back on mine and have a look and see where that is.
Close to Geneva.
Okay, Mayrin. Mayrin, Switzerland. Okay,
There's
let's see where
actually
that
two
is.
circles. One's bigger than the other. One's a little small circle and the other one's a big circle. See it?
All right, so I've got. What was the name of the other place again? The Gothard, wasn't it? So let me just have a look. Let's see how far it has to move to go from there.
But let's see it on this map.
They're a fair way next to each other. They're in different parts of Switzerland, so.
Switzerland's not that big, Lawrence.
Oh no, but it's quite a big.
I mean, they're tied them together because I just did a search and I had a hard time finding CERN without Gothard after I already looked for it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
European Organization for Nuclear Research. How does that turn into CERN? Oh, well.
I have no idea. Never mind.
Okay, so the idea is that they are now trying to connect the two in our minds.
Sorry, what was that? What was that place called again, Laurie? That one you just found? Sayrin,
Mayrin.
something to say. Mayrin to Gothard. Okay, I'm going to have a look at the distance.
So the idea is they're trying to connect them, at least in our minds, and a lot of people have a lot of fear of CERN because they don't really understand what the hell they're doing. And this opening ceremony for this weird tunnel, Gothard Tunnel, adds to the mystery, obviously, and the ooh kind of thing. So I think the propaganda about it is to make us fearful that we don't have any control over what the hell they're doing. And we actually don't. And it's like, how are you going to go stop CERN? Plus, I mean, there's like some goddess, Isis or somebody weird like that outside of CERN, the temple, one of those.
Oh, it's only a couple of kilometers according to this. They're quite close, so they're within, a
few miles.
How far is it from Mayrin to locations worldwide? So Mayrin to
but there's another CERN type collider too.
I need to find a place near the other, another town, because Gothard is not a place, it's the name of the tunnel, isn't it?
Right.
Where is the Gothard tunnel? Let me have a look. I'll find it.
There's another kicks off for a successor. Let's see that.
It's in Erstfield. So let's have a look. Erstfield. Let me have a look at the distance between them two.
So CERN kicks off plans for a Large Hadron Collider successor in 2014. CERN Particle Physics Lab near Geneva is putting plans in place to build a successor to its Large Hadron Collider at a meeting to be held at the University of Geneva next week. Some 300 physicists and engineers, including current CERN boss, blah, blah. Okay, so that one is designed to be to the west of Lake Geneva.
It's not coming up, so I'll shelve that for now.
I'm sure whatever this has will end up having some connection to something we're going to look into at some point, because you know how that is. We always go off on a wild goose chase and then turn into, hey, remember that time? Now look what it means. So
yeah, there's always a reason for stuff. I have no idea why I was looking at CERN. It was just the foil. I just thought I expected to see some foil, so I thought I'm going to look for foil, and I found the foils.
Well, I mean, it's almost like,
weird is that?
Is foil now going to be like a joke thing? You know, like if we put foil on it, we're just kidding around. You know, we're just spoofing on you when we put foil on it, because if it's got foil on it, you've been foiled. I don't know.
Fooled. Foil and fool. Yeah.
Fooled. Yeah, we're just foiling you.
Foiled equals fool.
That's what it seems like.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look.
And you know what is amazing is when people see that looks like duct work and curtain rods and aluminum foil that made up the landing module to go to the moon the first time anyway. Anybody that sees that should just start laughing, but people don't. I don't know how. That and the fact that, wait a minute, that lunar that rover was supposed to be stuck in there somewhere. How'd that thing fit? Because like, how did you have that stuffed in there? And then somebody asked that question, and I actually saw a blog article that it was folded up, that it, they somehow folded that thing up and put it in that cargo compartment. And then you're like, okay, well, I can maybe go with that. But then how'd you get it out of there? How'd you roll it out of there all folded up? Because, I know things are kind of weightless on the moon, but how'd you pick that baby up in a couple of guys and put it out on the ground? So, there's just so many of those kind of things that you just really, after a while, you see enough of them, you go, how in the hell did they have me fooled this long? I never even questioned any of this. So there's a reason. There's something they did. It has to be starting our education at such a young age, and such a young age is when they give you all the space shit, right? All the space stuff comes in right at the early beginning. The planets hanging down from the ceiling of the school, and the globe on the desk of the teacher, and the goofy maps, and all that stuff. The sun and the size and the spinning and all that stuff is all started out really young, and that's indoctrination. There's no other way. There's nothing else you can call it. It's not propaganda. It's indoctrination. And then when you get to a certain age, you're like, you've already moved on now to the really hard stuff, like the mathematics and the, history and the English, and if you're not good at it, art, whatever else, then you've totally, that's all in the past, all that space globe stuff.
Yeah.
Until Flat Earth came out, as a movement, which, as we both know now, was implemented to come out as a controlled psyop. Until that came out, I didn't question any of that stuff. But then I started seeing the proofs, and then that one thing led to another, and the history is for you and for me both. We were given yet more indoctrination. This little circle pizza pie map. And then mysteriously, that Gleason map got donated to the museum. Ooh. And then, that became much more official looking than, but look at the connection with the UN flag and all of that. And all of us were going, yeah, look at that. And then suddenly, you start to ask one question. Hey, wait a minute. This doesn't look like this. You can't fly from here to there in this amount of time, and all of those questions we started asking, but then we were the bad guy. So because we started rocking the boat, and have been ever since. So maybe you should jump on CERN.
CERN was founded on September the 29th, 1954.
Well, isn't that convenient?
Yeah. The other interesting thing.
Your audio, Lawrence, your audio's all messed up.
I'll come back. I'll be shutting down soon anyway.
I'll come back.
I'll come back.
We're getting pretty close to being done anyway, so. Yeah, there's probably something about CERN that we need to add into the flat Earth thing. For one thing, I guess if you made the depth of it the right equal depth, then you wouldn't have to worry about curvature because it's not that big. How many miles across is CERN? Lawrence,
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't
well, I was just thinking about curvature, that they would, how much curvature they would have had to take into consideration to level this thing out underground.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you can't have these things going around in a really, really fast circle and having going woo, woo, you know, like up and down like a wave, right? That would be like a roller coaster ride underground if it was following the lay of the land, if we lived on a globe.
And if it
So,
was real, yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's a real place, and I think they really dug the tunnel, and I think they really play like they're doing something around there. But I don't think it's for the intention that they tell us it's for. I mean, it's kind of like quasi-private to where, you know, only like there's only so much questioning you can do. You can't go there and take a tour. Maybe you can, who knows? Maybe you can take a tour, but I'm sure like not the whole facility
Yeah.
is available for walk-ins. Hey, hi, I'm here
Yeah.
to inspect your facility. I
Yeah.
want to see
Well,
what y'all are doing down here with all this aluminum foil.
well, obviously we've been fooled into thinking that it's real. So I actually did a search on fooled, foiled, and hoax, and I got a nice little story here which said, last week the New York Post page 6 column picked up on a story that had been widely circulated on the blogosphere. The magazine Wine Spectator was the victim of a hoax when it came out that its award of excellence had been given to a restaurant that did not exist. So you could just change the restaurant to CERN. Foil.
Sure. And then you give it a Nobel Prize for science or physics or something, and suddenly it starts building cred, street cred.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. That's it. Have you got anything else this week, Laurie? I haven't got any other information, any old news?
I've been busy as always, and got through those stinking holidays that everybody gets so excited about, and I'm glad it's over. And now I'm completely unexcited about January 20th or whatever it is, when President Trump gets sworn in, and everybody thinks that, you know, somebody's gonna get out a Brillo pad and shine it up, and it's gonna suddenly become happy days are here again. And I feel sorry for people who are so sucked into that they truly believe that this is the savior of America. And meanwhile, you know, he bragged about saving a few hundred jobs or 1,000, I don't even know, from some Boeing plant or some, I don't even remember. And yet just this week, you know, they announced that a whole bunch of stores were going to close for Macy's, and that was going to be 10,000 lost jobs. And the Limited was going to close all their stores, and because they can't compete with online shopping. And you know, somebody's going to have to do something real quick to make this a bright, shiny America again. But so then that'll start all over with all the politics all over again, you know, when he gets sworn in, because people will be watching every movie he makes, just like they were watching every move Obama made for the first 100 days. And then after that, it was like, oh, well, screw this. He lied just like all the rest of them before him. And they're going to find out that Trump's going to be the same way. But one last time, they had to get their hopes up. And it didn't happen to me. They didn't suck me into it, but my hopes are only ever forward going to be on the people and not the politicians ever again. But I'm losing faith in the people too, because they don't seem to be getting any smarter.
Yeah. So Laurie, before you got into flat Earth, you know, he was quite hot on chemtrails, wasn't he? I think maybe we should do a show to chemtrails, because I've done a lot of work, well, not recently, but most of what I've come up with is still stands. Maybe we should do a show covering chemtrails, because there may be some connection here between what's going on. I don't know what the connection is, but we might do a bit of live brainstorming and see where it takes us. Because most
I don't
people...
know what the connection is either, but there probably is one with regards to the same people in the truth community. Most of them have similar belief systems about which things are conspiracies and which things aren't. But I was a big, you know, fearmonger of chemtrails when I first noticed them. I don't know, 5-6 years ago, maybe longer. And I just could swear and be damned, they were dumping some seriously bad chemicals on our heads every day. And where I live is a big chemtrailing place. But now I don't know what to call them, because as you have noticed, and as others have noticed, the direct correlation to the chemicals that they've said are in the chemtrails versus what's being found in the water and soil samples is not matching up. So I'm kind of on a new kick with that as far as what I think might be in there. And it's not really new. It's something that it kind of put to the side and sort of ignored years ago when I first started investigating chemtrails, and that was nanotechnology.
Yeah, so, but that is, for me, that is still the biggest mystery, other than the flat Earth and where we are. You know, what are these trails?
Yeah,
we know they're not chemicals.
Well,
the only evidence we've got
I think it's nanotechnology, Lawrence. I really do. I think they've been spraying. How would you test for nanobots or nano particles in it? How would you know what to look for to test for nanoparticles in the water samples or the soil samples? And nanoparticles certainly aren't going to hurt anything in nature, because, you know, I was one of those who kept watching the trees, the grass, the birds, the animals, to see what the effect of these chemicals were on them. And I mean, I live in Florida, so everything's just freaking growing all the time, even though we're getting bombed every day.
Yeah, I'm not buying into at the moment anyway, until I see some evidence of the nanoparticles, because, you know, all this fear mongering that it's killing all the trees and stuff, it doesn't buy that documentary called What in the World, or Why in the World Are They Spraying? The funny thing was that when you watch the documentary, you've got this beautiful, pristine, green environment, you know, and they're trying to make out all the crops are killing, and they need special aluminium resistant crops, when it was a paradise as you saw it. Everything looked beautiful.
Well, I mean, like I said, where I live, Lawrence, I mean, you know, we're called subtropic here, and I'm constantly out there with my cutters and my choppers and my big trash cans, filling it up with cut stuff from, you know, plants growing like a jungle around my house that I planted, you know. Let's see how this does. And all you had to do was just cut something off and stick it in the ground, and it'd take root and start growing. And so there's nothing wrong with the plants. There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with the birds. You still got squirrels and other rodents. You know, I see possums in my yard. I see raccoons, squirrels by the galore, a bunny now and then. So nature's not, I can't see where nature's being negatively affected, but humans, on the other hand, the trick with the nanotechnology is that they can be programmed to work in certain environments and in situations, and be dormant in others. So maybe until it gets breathed into your body, it doesn't do anything. Have you checked into Morgellons, Lawrence?
I have, yeah. I mean, I was a big advocate of Morgellons, but I'm not buying into it now. But just going back to the nanoparticles, So let's say it was nanoparticles that they wanted us to breathe in to mind control us in some way. Why would they need to spray for 20 years?
Well,
I mean, I
maybe they
found out
haven't.
about.
Well, hold on, just in defense of that theory, not that I want it to be true, but there's something called activation. Okay, if you want to get everybody to have a certain payload amount of nanoparticles in them, and you have different nanoparticles for different purposes. Okay, if you want to make zombies out of everybody, I don't know what the intention is, but until they're activated, they're not doing anything. So apparently,
How do we even know?
Activation
Yeah.
could happen in phases. You could activate within certain different areas of the country, like let's say different FEMA zones for America. Okay, I think there's like 8 or 9 or 10 FEMA zones. I don't remember. High from FEMA zone 4. Okay, and so some people say that, you know, there's these Gwen towers, GWEN, capital letters acronym for that's like almost like an EMT microwave, don't know, system that's set up that these things are interconnected all across America. They've been building them for years too. And that
All right, Laurie. All right.
flip a switch and turn them all on and microwave a whole bunch of brains. I don't know.
My rebuttal to you about nanoparticles is I first found out about chemtrails back in 2003. So if they had been spraying nanoparticles, then you and I have been breathing them in for probably the best part of 20 years, and it hasn't affected me and it hasn't affected you. So
I'm telling you,
failed.
Lawrence, that's okay to think that, but I'm saying, what if they haven't activated them yet? They haven't
right. So they're
them
dormant.
Dormant. I'm just putting out what theories I've heard, read, and researched over the years, because I've been kind of kicking out theories as time goes by. I mean, how long, you know.
So you think they're going to activate the nanoparticles and turn us all into zombies?
Not all, but, you know, I don't know what they're for. You know, obviously there would be different intended purposes. Now let's just cross that over with the transhumanism agenda, and there is one that, you know, I mean, holy crap, I mean, can't even tell you how many predictive programming movies and books and articles and stories I've read about the oncoming transhumanist agenda. So one of the parts of the transhumanist agenda is to make people genderless, and they're making a pretty good headway on that one, you know.
So when you say nanoparticles, are you talking about?
That could be part of turning off people's sexuality, making people think they should be a man instead of a woman, and going through sex change. I don't know. And there's probably somebody out there going, oh my God, what a bunch of hooey. I'm just talking out loud. Okay. I'm just regurgitating a lot of the different thoughts and ideas that people have had over the years.
I know, but when you've got an orchestrated campaign and psyop movies out there trying to make you believe that the so-called contaminants are actually being sprayed on us when they're not. Now, there may be nanoparticles, it may be something totally different, but why is there such a campaign to make us believe that it's aluminium, barium, and strontium?
Well, why would they go through what I want to know is, if there is no reason and there is no agenda and there is no purpose, what the hell have they been doing this for so long? I mean, is it just for fear mongering? I mean, that's a lot of money flying planes back and forth across the freaking sky.
If it's
Of
planes,
course,
yeah. I
you
mean,
do have people say that they're doing it for weather modification. Okay, global dimming is one of them, and that it's not necessarily harmful chemicals, and that some of these chemicals take a long time to come to Earth to fall. They must be anti-gravity. I don't know. Little joke. Gravity's joke.
yeah, I know, but you're getting all these planes, Laurie. You're getting planes that disappear. You're getting trails that haven't got any planes. You've got these orbs. All this shit. It's
the first time I ever noticed my first chemtrail.
all right. Well, what do you say to Awake Souls? Because just because somebody puts out what I consider to be bullshit, he put out quite an interesting video the other week saying that he thought the chemtrails were actually releasing demons down onto the earth to come and inhabit our bodies, and he reckoned that's what the X marks the spot for the trails was about. And I've seen lots of those X marks the spots. In fact, I've seen one over my own house, and you've probably seen one over yours. It probably come and try and get you.
Demons. I
Yeah, have you
hadn't
not
heard
watched
that
it?
one.
I know,
I
seriously, it was
hadn't
quite
heard
an
that
interesting one.
What are they like?
Yeah.
Powdered demons?
I don't know. It was very interesting. Worth watching anyway. It was a new take on it, and it made as much sense as a lot of the other stuff I've seen.
Well, okay. What if nanobots are demons? What if it's a combination?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
But
Well,
there's a whole website about.
I'm not going to poo-poo anybody's idea, because I just go by the premise of when something becomes ridiculous, I kick it out. And I haven't looked into this one yet.
Well, it's the same with like any conspiracy. Whatever comes out first by the people who bring it out first, these are the people that are put in place as fake, fake truthers to push the favorite version of what it is.
Yes, if you want to be the Pied Piper, okay, if you want to be the leader of a new idea, okay, then your business is set in place to bring it out as sort of a gatekeeper kind of thing. This is what it means, and this is where we're going with it. And don't go over there, because if you go over there, you're in the wrong rabbit hole. This is the rabbit hole you're supposed to go into, okay? And that's what happened with the fake map and model that was presented for flat earthers. Was, if you go over there, you'll be mocked and chastised and whatever else. So this is the proper path to take. So I don't know. I'm not accusing him of being a gatekeeper or a Pied Piper or a disinfo agent or a counterintelligence agent or whatever, because I don't really care enough to get into that. But that theory doesn't resonate with me at all right off the bat of hearing it. And usually if something does, it will, but this doesn't. And
yeah, I know, but
that sounds more like fear mongering to me. I mean, after all, Christianity is the largest religion in the United States. Okay. And I'll give you another clue. And this was some serious research that I was doing. And then a friend of mine who is a world traveler, who was also a chemtrail person, and had been doing research, and we commented on each other's threads all the time on Facebook, went to Southeast Asia and was visiting different countries over there, Vietnam, Thailand, etc., and said the most amazing thing: no chemtrails here. And I'm like, really? Nope, no chemtrails there. Nope. None. Never see any chemtrails in the sky. Perfectly pristine blue skies every day. No chemtrails. And I was wondering, Okay, then I contacted another friend who lives in South America, down in Chile, and said, no chemtrails here either. So then I started thinking, are these just in westernized countries that they're bothering to spray the sky? Because I mean, come on, they're leaving trails. I live in a place where the weather is the same day after day after day, almost to like the Groundhog Day, the movie. Okay, you get up, it's 80, you go to bed, you get up, it's 80, it's the same. Okay. And on one day, their skies will be covered with chemtrails, and then they turn into clouds, and then we have a cloudy sky. And then 2 days later, there's not a single chemtrail in the sky anywhere at all, and it's blue. Okay. And you go, same planes, same paths of patterns of flight. Okay. Same height off the ground, same distance from the airport, same everything. Why are no chemtrails showing up today and 2 days ago it was covered? Weather up there is exactly the same as it was 2 days ago. So that says they're spraying something.
Well,
suddenly
we'll have
get
to agree to
colder up
disagree.
there, in the at altitude. It didn't sun, and I know the difference between a contrail and a chemtrail, or let's call them persistent contrails, for a lack of wanting to go use the chemtrail word. All right.
Releasing something, I suppose. But if you go back to the early days of chemtrails and you think, what was the first high-value production documentary that came out? It was Clifford Carnicom's one called Aerosol Crimes.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just far too professional for some guy to make as an amateur. It was about an hour and a half long. And I watched it a few times.
With the death dumps. What was his name?
I don't know.
That was his big term, death dumps. He was a former like FBI agent or something. Hold on. Death dumps. Ted Gunderson.
Yeah.
He was huge in the chemtrail thing. He's a former FBI guy. Ted Gunderson, chemtrails and death dumps, which has been debunked, whatever.
The only thing I would say, that this is an interesting point about chemtrails, because if you look at the health service over in the United Kingdom, the health service don't give a shit about your health. They just prescribe drugs for virtually everything. They don't care about your health, apart from if you smoke. So in the UK, you can go to the doctor and say, I want to give up smoking, and you can for free. You can go to a self-help group. You can get free patches. You can get free gum. You get free anything to do with smoking if you're going to stop. So it's almost as though they want you to stop smoking. And the thing about smoking is that it puts a coating on your lungs. It puts a coating of mucus on your lungs because the smoke irritates your lungs a little bit. And that's why every day you cough up some gunk, usually in the morning, after the day smoking before. So why does the health service, don't know whether it's the same in the States, why are they so keen on people to stop smoking? And they put more and more horrific images on the packets of cigarettes. What's the big deal to them? Why do they care? They don't care, really. So there must be something in cigarette smoke that they don't want us to have.
Right.
And maybe it's the effect on your mind or your body. Of course.
They always want you to not do something like marijuana, is an example. I read a blog article today that the anointing oil that Jesus was and the disciples were so prevalent to use in the Bible was olive oil mixed with some herb oils and cannabis oil. And that's what they were using to cure everyone. I'm like, well, okay, whatever. I mean, that's not real miraculous. And of course, the guy was supposed to be a miracle worker. So, but That's what somebody said, that's what Jesus was anointing everyone with, was cannabis oil, and then curing their illnesses. But it doesn't do that
Right, makes sense.
instantaneously. There must have been some serious cannabis oil that would, heal, and you are healed. So, but back to the
Yeah.
demons and nanobot thing. Okay. Um, why would they need this method of payload to deliver the payload? There's so many ways to do it. If you really want, you put it in the water, you put it in the food supply, you put it in, there's plenty of places if you wanted to sprinkle demons everywhere. So that one doesn't really make a lot of sense unless demons are in fact misunderstood and misrepresented. That would be that the term demons has had a connotation in the past of being these horrific, sulfury smelling creatures that look like demonic, look like lizard people or something. Okay. And that's an erroneous thing. And demons are actually mechanical beings, which would a little bit go with UFOs and some of the alien stories of, like, I don't know if you ever read or heard the video about a woman was brought in to interview and talk to one of the surviving aliens that was aboard the Roswell craft that supposedly crash landed, and that one survived. And this woman from, I think from UK, was brought in to interview and befriend this alien because she was representing herself as female. And it's a very interesting read. Or you can listen to the person read the story on YouTube. I'll send you a link if I can find it. And that was the first I ever heard of the term, kind of the term that I use now and then, of meat suit. That these are entities that, in order to be in our atmosphere, have to put on a sort of meat suit to be able to operate or be seen or live, whatever. So that would be the only line of thinking that I would use to think about that, nanobots being demons. But the delivery method seems really strange to me.
It's but if you had an honest government, then politicians and everybody else can see this, that what you see exists. What is there, if anything, is the debate. And so they know about it, but they have been told by their masters to stonewall about it and pretend that these trails don't exist. In fact,
and they call it all other kinds of things. Geoengineering. You'll hear a weatherman come on TV and talk about, the base down at Elgin Air Force Base today had planes in the air, and they were putting chat in the sky for the purpose of testing radar, blah, blah. And, they'll show this pattern of these cloud formations that are created by this chat that they put in the sky. And so, you can come up with,
we know that's not
people
true,
think
though,
that it's there for HARP. People think that they're going to use it for Project Bluebeam. I mean, I've heard I think now with the addition of demon nanobots, I think I've heard every possible theory for what's going on up there.
Yeah. I know. Still
All I
interesting
know
though,
is
isn't it?
I went through all the phases, almost like the same phases of death, dealing with the death, um, disbelief, um, anger, guilt, all of those things that you go through when you're dealing with death. And so I can't muster up the energy to be mad about it anymore because I can't do anything about it. I can't stop it by myself. Anything I can't stop by myself, I have learned to just sort of come to grips with dealing with so that I am not a raving lunatic or depressed or any of those things. So chemtrails is definitely one of them. And I've pointed them out so many times to people, I can't even tell you. If I'm outside, and years ago, if I was outside getting out of my car, getting in my car, coming out of a building, going in a building, and I happen to look up and I do that, and I'm like, look, do you see that? And people, what? You see that line? And I'll go through the whole spiel. You see that line up there? That's not normal. Well, that's what those contrails are coming. No, and I'll stop what I'm doing. I could be late for a meeting, and I will stand there and talk to them about chemtrails. And I say, just, don't take my word for it. You just pay attention from now on when you see them and when you don't, and what the differences are. And somebody called me one time and said, you were telling me about that. This is a friend of mine. And they said, you said that every time you see them, that it's going to rain within 24 to 48 hours. And I've been paying attention, and it has. It rains between 24 and 48 hours after I spot those chemtrails. And I go, I know. But I just look at it as, well, we need the rain. So I don't know if it's geoengineering or not. I don't know what it is. What do you think
Here's
of this,
another.
demons? What did you think when you heard that? You thought that it was interesting, you said. So what made you grab onto that?
You'd have to watch the presentation, Laurie. I can't remember off the top of my head, But I mean, there's another little thing that you could, out of interest, that will cost you $10, is to get a TDS meter. You can buy one online for about $10, and a TDS meter. It's got a little LCD light thing on it, dial on it, and you just dip it in rainwater or any kind of water, and it will tell you the total dissolved solids in parts per million. And the rainwater that I've tested comes between 8 and 10, whereas tap water has as many as 500 parts per million. So, people say nanoparticles can't be detected, but colloidal silver's nanoparticles, and they can be detected, because they discolor the silver.
Well,
they discover the water they're in.
I guess it depends on how the payload comes through with the nano. Okay. In other words, let's say, for example, that they dump nanoparticles. Okay. In and of themselves, they're inert. They're nothing. They don't change anything. But there's a website, let's see, what's it called? BioAPI, I believe. Yeah. Okay. BioAPI, Biometric Application Programming Interface, is a key part of the international standards that support systems that perform biometric enrollment and verification or identification. Okay. This website that I found years ago, it's called Data Asylum, all one word, obviously, Data Asylum, so that would be 2 days, A's together, .com. And it's BioAPI, nanotech, implants, blah, blah. Okay. Hold on and let me share this so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is the site. dataasylum.com, bioapi-nanotech-implants HTML. Your bioapi, let me go to this site, and then you go to the home page. No, that's not where I want. I want details. And what happens is that each one of these little particles is nothing in it on its own, but when they get together, they connect and they form a larger thing. Okay, so that's supposed to be the idea. And each one of them has let's see, there's chemtrail. No, that's not what I want. I want this one. Chemtrail flowchart, chemtrails, nanofibers, bioAPI, phase 1, phase 2, phase X, monitored, the program, judgment. It's this whole big, this thing's been out for years. But the last time it was updated, it says here 2014. And if you delve into that website and read all that stuff, you know how people say they're gang stalked? Do you know what gang stalking is?
Everybody gangs up on one?
No, it's when you've been targeted as what they call a TI, targeted individual, and they track you and they do all kinds of bizarre things to basically drive you crazy and make you think that you're going crazy.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Okay, and one of the people that brought it to the forefront was I'll have to think of his name. But in other words, it's a organized thing. Okay, you might be in the grocery store and you'll see some guy that you think is looking at you funny, and you're like, you know, what? And they'll go away and you think, well, that was just my imagination. And then you go out to the parking lot and then there's another incident kind of like that. And then you kind of go, am I being followed? And then you start getting paranoid, and then you start, you know, I've known of a lot of people that this has happened to who are basically truthers. And the one connection that I did recognize was that all of them were chemtrail people, you know, people who were investigating, researching chemtrails. But then the idea is that the people that are doing the gang stalking are basically being mind controlled. They're not doing it on purpose. I mean, they're being used almost like they're, you know, something is jumping from one person to another person, like an agent in the Matrix, I guess would be the closest thing. And the idea is that, you know, the person kind of can lose it. I mean, pretty bad. I've known a few people who really just about come to the point of wanting to blow their brains out to make it stop. And they take control of your bank account, or they just, you know, and it sounds like you're some paranoid schizophrenic who's losing your shit, you know. So
it does seem that they're desperate, doesn't it?
Nanotechnology, but that's part of that. That's one of the things that's in that website, that bioAPI website, is about gang stalking, and that these nanos are in everyone, and that they can combine them to make, once they're in your system, and that, for example, they could, you know, assemble and then suddenly you're chipped with a tracking device.
Yeah, I know. See, one of the things that's been puzzling me over the past few years is how all these sites that we use online, like Facebook and eBay and PayPal, they're always asking for more information. So you know, we need to improve your security. Give us your phone number.
Sure.
So you give them the phone number. Then they want your cell phone.
Right.
They just want more and more and more.
If somebody reports you, which you don't know if anybody did or not, then you suddenly have to give them photo ID to prove you are who you are. So yeah, it goes on and on. Well, on
why
my
do they
Facebook,
want all this info?
Well, to sell you stuff right now. That's the main purpose. I mean, people think it's a whole lot more clandestine than that, but that's the primary purpose, is for marketing purposes, to sell you stuff. The secondary purpose, because they can make money off of you and the technology. I mean, remember several years ago when people said, this rumor started going around that Facebook was going to start charging people? And it was going to be something like $6 a month or $4.95 a month or something. And everybody got in a big uproar and was like, no way, I'll drop off before I'll pay. Okay. And suddenly that rumor went away. And they changed the terms of service. And in lieu of paying, you agree to them sharing your information with their advertisers. And who reads terms of service? Nobody. I mean, you might read the first paragraph, and then when your eyes are all back in your head, you're like, forget it, I'm not reading all this. And you just check, as a user service agreement, sure, yes, whatever, just hook me up. And so,
I bet you, seriously, if they said today to you, if you want to keep Facebook, you've got to pay $5 a month, and you would pay it because it's the main form of communication, isn't it, to the people that you deal with?
Right.
What would you use instead? Everybody'd have to email, wouldn't they? I mean, how would people, but email's so slow.
Well, I mean, there are other social media sites, but it's not the same. I mean, yes, you have, Reddit and Twitter and all the other, there's some, over the years, there's been dozens of sites that have popped up that it's like, oh, we're going to take away from Facebook. This is you can say whatever you want. You won't be censored. You won't be, reported, blah, blah, blah. Come to our site. And I've tried signing up for a few of them here or there. And it's like, this is not going to work. I mean, it's just not the same. So do I give my permission to be marketed to? Yeah, I have to be a member of Facebook. But one of the things that makes them very unhappy is that I have Ad Blocker Plus, and so I don't see hardly ever any ads on my Facebook. I go on other people's computer and log into my Facebook when I want to show them something, and I'm like, Jesus crap, how can you deal with all these ads all over the place? And they're like, oh, you just ignore them after a while. And I'm like, no, you don't. That's what you don't understand. You're subliminally getting bombed with ads for shit all day long. Okay. Then here's the other twist. All of the apps that they have you sign up for, apps like, for your phone, apps in your computer, your tablet, you sign a user agreement. And one of the user things in the user agreement is, check here, you allow us to use your camera or your speakers. If you're going to be on Pinterest, you've said, okay, you can use my camera, you can use my photos, you can use my speaker, you can, in my phone, blah, blah. And then suddenly people start complaining on Facebook, oh my God, I was sitting in my living room talking to my friend about adult diapers, whatever. I mean, just come up with anything, right? It's odd. And the next thing I know, I go on my Facebook and there's ads for adult diapers on my Facebook. How did they know? Did we dummy? Your device is on, okay? You give them permission to use your device. What do you think all these pedophiles are out there doing with these little children who have devices on all day long? You give them permission to use the camera, the speaker, and any other part of the device in the user agreement. And kids are showing up online, and people are like, how did that picture get my child get on there? And like, your kid was looking at your device, and all you got to do is maybe turn a button on, or the device can do it itself. How do I know? But the point is that we're allowing all of this monitoring ourselves. They're not doing anything to anybody. Okay, we're checking the box that says yes, we're agreeing to the user agreements, and you have nothing to bitch about when you know your photos show up someplace or you're being marketed to. And you know, this thing that I posted yesterday about that Facebook security thing, okay, I kept seeing it and seeing it and seeing it. And I finally like, okay, I'm going to go check this out and see what this Facebook security thing in your settings blocking is all about, right? So I go on my Facebook, you go up to the little drop down menu and you select settings, you click settings, settings come up, you click blocking, all the people that you have blocked shows up in a menu. And then at the top of the blocking list is a search box, and you can put anything in there that you want. It's a search feature on Facebook. So people said, type in Facebook security in that box. So I did, boom, Facebook security, and a whole list of names came up, and there was about 50 names. And these were not my friends. I do allow followers on my Facebook. And so, of course, there's all kinds of videos and blogs and everything else about how this is a hoax and how this is just an in-house feature of Facebook, a search feature, and it's just pulling up anyone's name who has Facebook security in their name, their title, their job, their whatever. Okay? Like, all right. So I'll click on some of them and see who they are. So I click on one. And right there next to it gives me an option box to block them. So I hit, okay, block them. See if I can. Can't block them. They cannot be blocked.
Yeah, I've just done it, Laurie. Yeah, I've just done it on mine. So
how many do you have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, about 50.
Okay, so you have 50 names there, and they're not friends. So just select any random one of them.
I don't know any of them.
And see if you can block them.
Okay, I'll try blocking one. Block.
And it may say you successfully blocked this person, but then you try another one and you can't. Some of them you just cannot block. It will not allow you.
Yeah. Let me remember the name. Let me do another one. There we go. I'll block somebody else and see if they come up. I have to make a note of their name. There we go. All right. So I've got the one at the top. I'm blocking that. Block him, and let's see if he's on my block list. This profile can't be blocked. Oh,
there God. You go. See?
Yeah.
Now, why would a social media platform have people on it that cannot be blocked unless they're assigned to a certain group of people to monitor or troll or whatever? Okay. Now, people say that's a feature that Facebook has so that certain people who get blocked a lot, after they get a certain amount of blocks, they don't allow them to be blocked anymore because, and I'm like, what the hell? If somebody's blocked by a whole bunch of people, I mean, is it blocking a form of bullying now? Sorry, poor Joe Blow can't be blocked because he's been, a victim of over blocking. Really? You really
Yeah.
buy that? So
Wow. Well, anyway, Laurie, the one I just tried to block, right? It's nobody I've never heard of, and it's a flat earther.
there you go. Okay, now
Yeah.
let me ask you this. When you first got into flat earth, well, no, you were in flat earth before it became like the movement. When that first kicked off and you were joining some groups and learning other people that were flat earthers, did you get a shitload of flat earth
Yeah.
requests from friend requests? Like everybody wanted to be friends with everybody who was a flat earther?
At one time, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. At first, everybody, if you were a flat earther, if you had a flat earth map, or if you had, flat earth posts on your walls and you sent a friend request to another flat earther, you were automatically in. Just, yep, no problem. It's because this is the awakening. This is the flat earth awakening, and we're all going to be flat earth friends. And nobody checked into who any of these people were. Nobody, went down their wall or looked into what groups they belonged to or anything else. They just automatically accepted them. And all the groups did the same thing. If you were a flat earther, they accepted you. And then that's when all the trolling started and all the shill calling and all the disinfo bullshit and all that stuff. But so I posted on my wall about this thing, this Facebook not being able to block. And most of the people understood what was going on. But there were a few people who were like, oh, this is some kind of paranoia, you're just going around randomly blocking people that have the words Facebook security in their title or in their post or something. And I'm like, why would you draw attention to yourself and put Facebook security in any of your search parameters, okay, that you're going to show up when someone searches for Facebook security, you're going to show up. And how come different people, if that's just a parameter that shows up all of these people, how come you have 50 or 60, I have 50 or 40, the next person has 3, another person has 2? Why would they all show up to everybody equally?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's bullshit too. But I rest my case on this. There shouldn't be anyone on Facebook that is unblockable. Right?
Well, according to this, Laurie, it's letting me block about 50%, and
right.
I'm refusing to block the others. So,
and so maybe some of those people are just trying to get attention by putting Facebook security on their Facebook, just so that they will show up in this search now, whatever. But if you can find 1 or 2 or 3 that cannot be blocked, why is the question? Why can they not be blocked? Because I tried to throw a flat earther out of my flat earth group about a year or so ago, about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. And I couldn't kick him out, and I couldn't block him. About 10 or 20 times I was like getting kind of panicky, because I'm like, why can't I ban this guy, kick this guy out of the group and ban him? And it just kept, I refreshed the screen and there he was again. And I just kept trying to remove and ban, remove, ban. Finally, I thought maybe if I block him. So I started trying to block him and he wouldn't block. And he's a pretty well-known flat earther in the groups anyway. So, at the end of the day, we all should be quite aware by now that we're being watched, we're being monitored, we're being sold to, we're being, monitored for the purpose of marketing. They want to know who buys what and how much of it, so they know who to sell stuff to. They want to know what people think about certain products, so that they know, where to invest their money. Now you can send people money on Facebook. You can literally send money, not like PayPal, okay? Facebook. So there's people sending money back and forth on Facebook. And all of that's been tracked, because it would be. So do I care? Yeah, I care a lot. It pisses me off that this system is either all in or all out. If you're in, you're all in. If you're out, you're all out. And you can't have anything to do with anything online anywhere at all if you're out. But if you're in, you're all in. And that's the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a whole new box of frogs, isn't it? Facebook security. So if you're at home and you don't know how to access Facebook security, if you look at your notifications on the top, you'll see a little thing shaped like a padlock. And if you click on that and click on how can I block people who are bothering me, you click on that and it'll give you a search. Just type in Facebook security. Then on the left side of your page, it'll bring up a whole list of names of people with Facebook security somewhere in there. And, not all of them. So why can't you block them all? Good point.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing for them to show up under those search parameters. That's fine. I'm completely understanding of how search works. I've been using Facebook since 2000, early 2009. So I've been around it. But number one, why would there ever be anyone on Facebook that you can't block, no matter how many times you try? And whether they're a friend or a non-friend, they could, if you have a followers or a public profile, meaning you make public posts, they can follow whatever it is. And they probably can see inside other things that you think you've made private. Now, some people say if you make your Facebook private and only your friends can see stuff and everything else, that you're gonna limit a lot of that. But for somebody like you or me who uses Facebook for the gathering and projecting of truth and true information, what good is it going to do if you have everything all shut down secure to where nobody can see anything except your 20 friends? What's the point? I mean, that's a whole different use for Facebook. Those are the people that share pictures of their dinner and their pets and their stuff.
Yeah. I'm going to just show people what it looks like, Laurie. So I've just got one here so I can give an example. I know we've gone off on a bit of a tangent here, but that's interesting stuff that this crap's out there. Okay, and I've got a file called security. There we are. So that's the message you get. It says this profile can't be blocked for now. You can report pages or profiles if you think they're doing something that goes against our community standards. Learn more if you think you're seeing this mistake. Please let us know.
Mm-hmm. And I know people who have reported these profiles that they can't block, and they never hear a response. Now, I've reported posts on Facebook before. I've reported pedophile posts, some pretty raunchy porn posts, and some hate posts before. And when you report, it's anonymous, and sooner or later Facebook will respond and say what they did about your report, and they'll either tell you they took it down or they didn't, and why. And they'll give you the option. Well, you can block this person if you want to. So the idea is, you're still sharing your screen, Lawrence.
Oh,
The
sorry,
idea
I'm sharing
is,
you. Yeah.
if you, yeah, it's always me too that we're sharing, and with a frozen face. And so, you know, for a lot of intents and purposes, Facebook has got a lot of things right. I mean, it is pretty phenomenal when you think about all of the messages from all of the people. I mean, I don't know how many messages you have in your message box of people you've messaged with, but
Yeah.
unless you go in there and personally delete the messages, they just go down the row, right? They just
Yeah.
get pushed down, right? I went in there one time and I had never deleted any of them. And I went in there one time and I was like scrolled and scrolled and scrolled. There was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of messages from different people. And I thought, holy crap, this is like in-house email that they can read, all of it, every bit of it. Anybody who thinks their inbox messages are safe is really fooling themselves. And so don't put anything anywhere like that you don't want everybody to know, because I mean, back in the day when flat earth wars were happening and people, you know, would get mad at each other and mad inside groups, and you're a shill and you're a shill and you're, next thing you know, inbox messages you have with somebody that you trusted, you thought was a private email, they're blowing it all over the group, telling everybody what you said, showing screen captures. I went through every bit of that when this whole thing first started. The fact that I'm still a flat earther and involved in any of these groups anymore, much less have my own, is pretty phenomenal to me. I don't even know why I'm still doing that, because you should see the length of my block list and the number of them that are flat earthers, call themselves flat earthers, because of arguments about maps, models, just random arguments in different about information. You know, it's just amazing. So, all right.
Well,
I'm done. You done?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to put the dog to bed now.
All right. Well, Finn, the good boy, he's been sleeping all this time. You give him a pat.
He's been very good. Yeah.
Don't let him chew your arm off.
All right, Laurie. Well, we'll be back sometime soon.
Okay. Good talking to you, Lawrence. Thanks, everybody, listening and hanging out in chat and viewing this live. We'll see you soon.
Good night.